The Church of Rome in Paul's day is no different than any other church. It struggled with sin. It had its issues, and it even had its racial and ethnic issues. We have the Jews and the Gentiles fighting against each other. These are they're brothers and sisters in Christ, but they couldn't get together and have unity. The Jews were trying to slip in their old traditions and dietary laws and stuff like that. And, the Gentiles didn't want anything to do with anything that was Jewish. So it caused tensions within the church and caused divisions. There was now Jewish churches and now Gentile churches. And, it's no different than today. There's a different type of church on every corner. So if you don't like this church, go up the road, it'll be something different. But instead of having unity, realizing that there's only two groups in the world, those in Christ, those not in Christ. So, if they're in Christ, you should have a common bond or fellowship and be able to get along. So Paul's here preaching the gospel, trying to bring unity. And it builds up to, the famous verse in verse 16, "For I'm not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek." So we have Paul here boldly preaching the gospel, and he's going in churches and preaching it because obviously they need it, because there are several not getting it. They're just constantly causing division. So what we can pull from this, be bold, boldly preach the gospel. Do not be ashamed of the gospel. Be surprised what can come from that. You could maybe encourage, you could get, someone saved, or you can encourage someone in a church to step up and, maybe be a better leader in their church and help build that church. So, don't be ashamed of the gospel, and, get out and preach today.